ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 Namaste to all. Welcome to the second session of Mundakopanishad, a class that was just started a couple of weeks ago, and wherein we saw some interesting things in the first class. And one of the things we saw was the uniqueness of this I, the self-evident I, where it is very easy to take for granted. Self-evident I means it's an invitation to do some daydreaming because, I know the I know this self-evident I, this is what it is, and I can just, zone out. And last time, for this reason alone, we saw why it is not a matter for zoning out. Why? Because the entire Vedanta Shastra rests on this self-evident I. No self-evident I, no Vedanta Shastra, no self-evident I, no Guru, no teaching, no Shishya, no self-evident I. And also this is one thing which we are going to do this today. No self-evident I, no judgment centered on the self. That is also there. So, the Vedanta Shastra is not trying to establish the I. Because this is what the whole, the bread and butter of Vedanta is that the I is already established. Swatas Siddha, self-aware consciousness, awareness. And one is unique. I am the only one that is self-aware in this whole universe. And then everything, therefore, becomes evident to me. All the objects in the universe evident to me. Other people's bodies evident to me. Other people's moods evident to me. And perhaps if I am a mind reader and have some psychic abilities, other people's mental thoughts, etc., sometimes evident to me. My own body evident to me. My own mind evident to me. All the things in the universe evident to me. And then I am unlike anything else because I am the only one that does not need to be lit up. Who do I become evident to? There is no force in the entire universe to which I have to become evident. This is a great blessing, thank God. And yet, the struggle to become unique, to become different, to become somehow to stand out, to be outstanding in any field, does not go without Vedanta instruction. And why is that? It doesn't go simply because this fact that I am unique and I am unlike anything else in this universe is not understood. The ramifications of this fact is not understood properly. And that is why there is this rampant struggle. The struggle to become is the definition, the very definition of samsara is struggle. And what is the struggle? To become. To become what? Something or the other. Something different. Like the poem of T.S. Eliot. He wrote one poem. He wrote many poems. And one of them is called The Love Song of Alfred J. Prufrock. And then in that, the protagonist who has this kind of an apathy towards life, of feeling, like an automaton, feeling like he is going through life just like that. And he wonders how to stand out now. He says, somewhere in the middle of the poem, it's a little refrain, I grow old, I grow old. Oh, so what are you going to do? I think I'll wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled, meaning some kind of a fashion statement. That's all one can do to ward off old age and all its ramifications. Old age is not a problem. That I think I am old is the problem. That old age identified with the I is the problem. Death is not a problem. It is happening all the time. Even in one's own body, the cells are dying. Alarmingly, even brain cells are dying as I speak and as you listen. And so therefore, death is not a problem. That I am subject to death is the problem. Endings are not a problem because that is the law of nature, law of life. Endings, beginnings are not a problem. Really. But that I think I am ending and I am subject to birth, I am subject to death. That I, which is the self-evident I, which is unlike anything else, which is in fact the Jyotisham Jyotihi, the light of all lights that lights up everything, because of which everything comes into existence. That light is not, the nature of this light is not understood. The nature of this I is not understood, and therefore the I becomes a sitting duck for all kinds of problems, all kinds of misapprehensions, wrong identification. And this is what is samsara. And that wrong identification is also because of the fact that I think that the I, is connected to all the things which are called as anatma. I am as good as I think, I am as good as I see, and I am as good as whatever is there, anything that is finite. This is the problem. So the nature, that the I is self-evident is not the subject matter of Vedanta. Because that would be a waste of time of the Upanishad to keep on saying the I is Svatas Siddha, self-established, self-evident. Why? Because you already know that. All we have to do is ask the question Pujya Swamiji used to ask in nearly every class. What is that? Are you here? Are you here? What answer will come? Of course I am here. I am here. Even if you were to say I am not here, you are advertising your presence. So you are here. So this self-evident I is not a subject matter to be established by a means of knowledge. More about that later. Means of knowledge called Vedanta Shastra. Means of knowledge in Sanskritam is pramanam. Pramayaha karanam pramanam. That which is the prama means knowledge. Ma is knowledge. Prama, well ascertained knowledge. Pramayaha karanam pramanam. So the Vedanta here is not helping you to understand that you exist. The Vedanta Shastra is not giving a certificate of existence. So and so you exist. That it need not do. It is having a few. Vedanta Shastra, the Upanishads, are having something to say about the nature of this you that is already self-evident, self-established, whose pratishtha doesn't need to be done by another means of knowledge or any other force. So the I is unlike anything in the universe. I is Prakashaka, the lighter upper of everything. Lighter upper means don't think that there is some kind of a matchstick and one is going on lighting things. No, you have to take it proverbially. Everything comes to light in my presence. Without me, things don't come to light. Everything shines in borrowed existence. I lend the existence to everything because I am the one who says, I am Ghataha. This is pot. This is thought. Even my own thought I objectify. This is thought, this is pot, this is cat, hat, rat, mat. I am the one who is saying it. The things in the universe are unable to establish their own presence. And so the nature of this I is not understood. Even though this is the truth about the I frequently mistakes itself as not I. This is what is called adhyasa. Two kinds of adhyasa. Many kinds are there, but two main ones are discussed. Atmani, anatma adhyasa. In the Atma, the mistake, adhyasa means a kind of a wrong projection. In the Atma, where the Atma is concerned, the Atma is mistaken to be a mortal. Atmani, in this Atma, which is the unchanging light of the universe, the only source of awareness, sentience, consciousness, which is limitless, which is forever. Upon that, a mistake is made and one thinks of oneself as finite. So the attribute of finitude is, as it were, superimposed upon this I. This is the problem. And then what? So then that is a very big problem. Then we have anatmani atma adhyasa. The reverse of this problem is also interesting. In all the finite things in the universe, I want them to last forever. And in fact, I convince myself that they are going to last forever. I want everything to be permanent. This is the thing. How can it be permanent? Drishta nashta svabhava. This is the whole Jagat. What you see, as soon as you see, it is falling apart. Whatever you see is already broken. Whatever you touch, it's waiting to be broken. If it's not already broken, it is waiting to be broken. And it is waiting to come to an end. Yet, all the things that are waiting to come to an end, I want to pump them with new life, put them on life support. And in the delusion that I can make them last forever. This forever is a very elusive thing. And it keeps shifting. As a 1-year-old, the blanket is forever. What blanket? The blanket of self-ignorance? No, the security blanket. One finger is in the mouth of this little toddler, and with the rest of the 4 fingers, it is grabbing the piece of cloth blanket. And the child cannot be away from this blanket. The blanket is forever. If the blanket is there, I am okay. Without the blanket, I am not okay. This is the child's psychology. at age 2. So much so that the parents have a hard time prying the blanket from the child's hand even when it's sleeping to put it in the wash. Even that is very difficult. Teddy bear, blanket, all these things, they can be washed. But then to get it out of the child's hand, to put it in the wash is a very big thing without causing a lot of distress to the child. Then after a while the blanket which one thought that one can never live without is gone. Something else takes its place. Some kind of another toy, car, doll, whatever it is, takes its place. Then later on, something. And then finally one enters adulthood bereft of all toys? No. As soon as one enters adulthood, one has a very important toy, phone. That is the toy. That is where the I resides. That's why it is called iPhone. Mind you. That's why it's called iPhone, because the I is in the phone. Literally. Transferred to the phone. And so therefore, sometimes people don't even remember their own number. Somebody said, oh, I want this thing and everything, I want to invite you here, please come. I said, okay, I'll give you a call. What is your phone number? And she had to look in the phone, for her own phone number. And so that's why it's called smartphone, because the smartness has been transferred from here over to the small little piece, gadgetry, without which, one feels like one cannot live. This dependency is samsara. The dependency on the anatma for to mimic the atma. To have this dependency, to gain some happiness. And I am okay if all these other things are okay. This is the dependency. And that dependency is because one doesn't know this fact that one is unlike anything else. One is the source of all existence. Everything depends upon its existence on this I, which is the consciousness. So what kind of an existence is it? It is a sentient existence. The I is alive. How do you say the I is alive? Well, if you ask that question, I will have just two responses. One is, if you need an immediate answer, pinch yourself. If you say, ow, you are alive. Okay. Or come and see me after class if you have any doubts that you are alive. So two choices have been given. So the I is self-existent, self-evident, and it is alive in the sense that it is sentient. What is this sentient? Sentient means, what does this mean to be alive? To be alive means to be to understand the nature of all the things in the universe. To be able to know I am existent, that is existence, Sat, I am, and then I know, Chit. I know. How long do you know? I know now. Now I know. And that's why sometimes even in conversation, people have this habit of saying, I know, even before you tell them something. I know. In India, this is very common. The seat of Vedanta knowledge. You hardly begin to talk. You're giving some information, some instruction, and the other person says, I know. I know what you're going to say. And even between married couples, this is very common. One spouse barely opens the mouth, I know. How do you know what I'm going to say? I know. You need not even talk, I know. This I know is not a small thing. This I know is inextricable from I am. It's a knowing being, which is the I. It's a knowing being which is all pervasive, which never translates into I don't know. Oh, how can you say that? Well, if you say I don't know Chinese, I don't know Mandarin language, what are you saying? I know that I don't know. Janami titameva bhantam anubhatyetat samastan jagat. That which, salutations to that Lord Dakshinamurti who manifests in the heart as I know, I know, I know, who manifests in the buddhi, heart, mind, all same in Vedanta Shastra. So who manifests as I know, janami iti, janami, I know, I know, I know. The I know that never turns into I don't know. This I know is all pervasive. There is nothing that it doesn't know. It is aware of everything it knows. It is aware of all the relative things it does not know. Sarvajnaha. That I is Sarvajnaha. All knowing. And how long is it existent? How long is it all knowing? Timelessly existent. Timelessly all knowing. There is no time involved here. Because time is also an object of consciousness. That's why this is not a knowledge that is unfolding in time. This is not an existence that is bound by time. Because time is again an object. Time is a creation. Time is a creation. And this being under the tyranny of time is also a construct. Think about how it was before the Industrial Revolution. People woke up, and then, especially in England where it all started, people woke up, and then to the bleating sound of sheep tied in the yard, and then they would go feed the sheep and the chickens and everything, and then what? When they felt like it, they would all gather. Some families used to shear the sheep and then send off all that wool to be, the fur to be cleaned to another family. And that family's job was to clean the wool and everything. And then it would come back, and then they would spin the yarn, and then they would have wool, and they would knit the sweater. There was a kind of an ownership of the whole production process. One did not feel alienated from the production process. This is important. There was some kind of a harmony there. And this is how it was in ancient India also. There was a kind of a harmony, a kind of a synergy of things, where one felt connected to nature, to one another, relatively speaking. But you see that was a different articulation of time. A time for Vaidika was just based on the whole thing as, the whole life as yajna. You wake up, and then one is a householder, married, Agnihotra, first thing in the morning, along with the spouse. Oh, when should that be done? Udite juhoti, at sunrise. Oh, that's too early, especially in these long winter months. Can you give us an option? Sure, says the Veda. Anudite juhoti. Before sunrise you can do. Only two options. So then the whole life was just centered not on time per se, but the whole life was centered on inner growth, karma yoga, on giving. That's why the whole life was yajna, giving something or the other, sacrifice, worship. So that was the Vaidika's life, to go from one form of worship to another. And even feeding people was worship. Bhuta yajna, feeding animals was worship. Everything is yajna. 5 such mahayajnas are discussed in the Shastra, in the Bhagavad Gita. And this is how one participated in the life. And this was all on purpose. So this was precisely to avoid the tyranny of time and the tyranny of space. Space is also very tyrannical. That's why everybody complains, I don't have enough space, I don't have enough space, all the time. And this is why one builds huge houses, dream house, which ends up as a nightmare. Why? Because nobody comes there. You think, oh, I'm not building it for myself, it's for the grandchildren. And the grandchildren come maybe for Thanksgiving 2 nights in a whole year. That's all it is. And so this is, so the dream house becomes a nightmare to maintain and another nightmare to sell. Because why would somebody buy your dream? They'll have their own dream. They'll have their own dream house. And so this is why we take recourse to Vedanta. And so little more about this time-space business. Time is an artifact. So before the Industrial Revolution, there was more time in a sense, because one was the boss of time. In a way, one knew it. And then what? Then the cotton ginny was discovered, was invented. And then what? Then, of course, every house cannot have ginny. And so every person named ginny had to go to the factory and then work over there. That's how these sirens. And then that's how the 9 to 5 work week. And then one day holiday, that too after all lot of unionization and fighting for rights and labor and all these things getting organized. Or 2 days holiday now. So work. So then one feels one doesn't have time. Oh my God, 8 to 5, 9 to 5. And that is in some ways, we have to thank the pandemic despite its ravages, because it has helped us question this. It has helped us question the tyranny of time, which has made it very conducive for the study of Vedanta in certain ways. I'm not discounting all the tragedies. I'm just looking here. I'm just seeing that this is also there. This is also there. So therefore, this time, the self, the I, is not an event that is unfolding in time. Time is an event. Space is an event. Time and space unfold because of the presence of I. Even when you say, I don't have time, you are actually the observer of time. How do you observe time? Sakshi Pratyaksha, a kind of a witnessing, that is the inner witnessing. This is how space and time are objectified. And how is that? It is done through this this feeling. Like, for example, you have a feeling within. And what is that feeling? That, oh, I think 15 minutes have elapsed. It's that same observing that makes you awaken at 5 o'clock because you had made a sankalpa without the need for a watch or an alarm clock. Sakshi Pratyaksha. Same thing with space. You have the feeling, suddenly you're just walking, minding your own business, walking on the road, and then you have this feeling. What is the feeling? A creepy feeling. And then you turn around, somebody is following you, too close for comfort. This is what is the time, the spoof of time and space. Time is a very big, what's that, superimposition, as it were, adhyasa, upon the I, and so is space. So therefore, this I, which is self-conscious, which is the only source of existence and consciousness, is told by the Shastra that it is all pervasive and without any limits. And this is Shastraika Vedya, meaning it is without this Shastra, without recourse to the Upanishad, this is not understood. And as long as this is not understood, the struggle to be something or the other all the time, the struggle to be what one feels one is not, and this desire to be constantly more and more and more and more and more, have more, and the constantly to fix up something or the other, arising out of a misplaced sense of self-judgment, a judgment centered on the self. That is a unique condition of the human Janma alone. The human Janma is wonderful. To be a human being is wonderful because one is completely aware of oneself without any inhibitions at all. Zero programming. There is no programming. One is free to really be. It's just fantastic, amazing. But it comes at a little bit of a cost that needs to be fixed up. What is that cost? The blessing of this unbridled awareness leads one to self-judgment, self-critique, self-non-acceptance, even self-loathe. I don't like myself very much. I see myself lowly. I see myself as not enough. This is unfortunately a prasada of this self-evident I. Everything is evident to me and my judgment is also evident to me. I am free to know everything and I am free to have a judgment centered on the I because the I is not fully understood. It is not a completely unknown I. You cannot say I don't exist. You do exist and you know this. But it's not a completely known I either. That is why the mistake is made. And if we take our favorite Vedanta analogy, what is that? We unmute and talk. Otherwise you're just mouthing the words. What is that?
Rope snake.
Rope snake. Rope snake if we take, you on an unknown and unseen rope, you cannot have a snake projected on the unknown and unseen rope. Let's say if it is pitch dark, and why one, even if there are two ropes lying on the ground, you will not see the snake because you are not seeing the rope either. You will not see the snake. And then you will not say, eek, snake. There is no mistake committed because the adhisthana is the technical word. Adhisthana means that upon which the mistake is made. And usually people use the word substratum and all. I don't like that because then you will think that the Atma, the body is on top of the Atma. No. That's why we just use the word adhisthana. We can learn one word, no problem. So the adhisthana, that upon which the mistake, that which is the locus of the mistake, if it is not evident at all, then how can you make a mistake? You cannot make a mistake on the unknown, unseen rope. No mistake. You just go about your day, or rather you go about your night. Okay, because this happens at night, because unknown, unseen rope. And then what? Can you make a mistake upon the seen rope? No. Why you are thinking about it? Say no immediately. So we can move on. So you can't make, because if it's bright daylight, you are going about the day and you see in your front yard, in the garden, a rope, a tribhangi rope with 3 bends. Are you able to make a mistake on that? You don't say
No.
snake. No. Because you know it as rope. That's why the gurus are very clever. When they talk about this example, the Shankaracharya onwards, the ambience is always set up as twilight. Some kind of an ambient light, neither completely dark nor completely light. This in between is the problem. So at twilight, you see something lying there, you don't know what it is. And you go closer, and then that's why you have the iPhone, okay? That's why it is stuck to the palm. And then what? And then the iPhone is not used to make phone calls most of the time. It is used to for flashlight and all these things. And then what else, so then you have the flashlight and you shine the light upon the rope, upon whatever there is, and you see it is not a snake at all, and you understand that the rope is the subject matter of aropa. That's why it's called rope. The Panini and other people who discovered this Sanskrit language, that's why they knew in English the rope word will come later on after many, many centuries. So let us call this aropa. Aropa in as though superimposition. Why do you keep saying as though? Because the superimposition is not really there. When the flashlight is shined upon the rope, what happens to the aropa? Bye-bye. Gone. What happens to the snake? Does it slither away? No. It retreats back into your own buddhi, which is the source of, which is the factory of the projection. The buddhi is the adhyasa factory. All kinds of projections keep happening. This is an adhyasa factory. And so therefore what? So therefore this projection is what is withdrawn in the wake of correct knowledge. In the wake of knowledge, in the wake of the right knowledge, this is not a rope. This is not a snake. This is a rope. Yeah, this rope snake, sometimes, the thing reverses. It happened to one brahmachari once in Anekatti in Coimbatore. Having heard in the bhashya every day 3 classes a day, rope snake. He was just walking and something was lying on the ground and he said rope and picked it up. It turned out to be snake. So the reverse is also possible. So that's why the example is in twilight. The rope should be partially known. And the rope is adhishthana sthaniya, meaning it is occupying the place in the example of the adhishthana. The adhishthana is partially known. And then it becomes the sitting duck for projections of two kinds of projections. Nivritti based projection, which is the rope example. What is nivritti based projection? Nivritti based projection means projections based on fear, wanting to run away. Because as soon as I see the snake, what is the feeling? And very few people will say, I'll go and pet it. No, but very few people will say that. Usually you take off. Especially if you're from India, you know how to respect snakes. You just have a limited engagement with them on the 5th day in this month where all the festivals come, the Naga Panchami. Give them a little bit of food and milk, and then that's all, from a respectful distance. Because the tropical country, all kinds of things are there. All kinds of biting things, poisonous snakes, etc. are there. So we learn to deal with respect, and then here in the example, this becomes a typical stock example of nivritti. You see and you take off, you run. So then what is the other kind of adhyasa? The other kind of adhyasa is the pravritti based adhyasa. You don't run away from it. This kind of a projection is a delightful projection. You run towards it. What is the stock example for that?
Shukti, silver and mother of pearl.
Yeah, Shuktika and Rajat. Shuktika, mother of pearl. A small shell in the middle of the sand on the beach. And then it is glimmering. Beach mein, pun intended, it is glimmering, it is shining because of the light of the sun. And you have read somewhere that on some occasion, some kind of a silver dollar has been released or why dollar, even a quarter. The American government has released Maya Angelou quarter. Oh, very nice, Maya Angelou quarter. Wonderful, I want one, I want one. Somebody has dropped it, I'm convinced. Because when that desire is there. And then you saw the photo of the Maya Angelou quarter. So it is, this adhyasa is smriti rupa, smriti rupa. And it is in the form of the memory seen elsewhere in the news item online or in a magazine or wherever. And then the desire to have that is born, and then what? In the beach you see this and you are convinced that that seen elsewhere is this right here. Paratra, somewhere else it is seen and it is right here, based on this memory, and you run towards it. And then what? Disappointment ensues. A worthless piece of mother of pearl. This becomes an adhyasa of the positive variety, pravritti based adhyasa. Nivritti based adhyasa. Nivritti based adhyasa, stock example, rope snake, and then this one, mother of pearl and silver dollar. This is the pravritti based adhyasa. And what is in common for nivritti and pravritti based? Adhyasa. Meaning you are seeing that which is not there. As I said, this is the adhyasa factory. Churning, 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 churning. Whole life, from birth to death. Even animals have adhyasa. Adi Shankara talks about this in the Adhyasa Bhashya. In the Brahma Sutra, Adhyasa Bhashya talks about it very, very beautifully. So if you are a trinapani, meaning holding you are a holder of grass in your hand, and you approach a cow, the cow also does some inference and deductions and whatnot, and it comes towards you, it makes some inference. And then if you are dandapani, if you are a stick wielder, it will run away from you. And animals also commit all kinds of adhyasa. They also make mistakes. But then the good things about, the wonderful thing about mistakes, two things. One is it can be corrected. It can be corrected. That is the most important thing. That is all what we are in the business about. Correcting mistakes. Adhyasa is a mistake and a mistake, both. Mistake means the Atma is not known for what it is. The Atma is the Adhishthana, not just of the rope, not just of the mother of pearl, but of the whole universe. It is the Adhishthana, and if the Adhishthana is unknown, there is no mistake. If the Atma is totally unknown, there is no mistake. Likewise, if the Atma is completely known, there is no mistake. The Atma is partially known. I know I am. Please don't ask the next question, who are you? Because then all kinds of mistakes will come pouring out. I am unloved, I am an idiot, I am not enough, I am this much feet tall and this many inches tall. That is why I wear high heels, and I am this and I am not this and I am not enough. I am married and settled. A very unsettling thought. And then, and then what? And then I have so many children. And then this is how this is my job, this is my house, this is my spouse. And this is all these are adhyasa. Wrong identification because the I is not known. All because of this. The I is not fully known as Jagat Karanam Brahma, as Bhagavan, as the cause of the universe, as Ishvara, it is not known. And therefore, all these mistakes leading to sorrow and fear. And that is what the purpose of this Shastra is. Sorrow nivritti, dukkha nivritti, shoka nivritti. And then bhaya nivritti, removal of sorrow and fear by what? By Brahma Gamanam, by leading one to understand that one is nothing but this truth. This is again a unique thing to human beings. Even though animals have inference and adhyasa, etc., still they are better off than we are. That's why they are called muktaha. They are already free of what? Self-judgment. They are free of self-judgment. They don't have self-judgment. And that's why we have we have so many ways in which the animals are not self-conscious. Not at all self-conscious. That's why they don't go shopping for clothes. Because they are, as nature made, they are not self-conscious. And they don't think, oh, no dog thinks nobody loves me. The dog is convinced I am very lovable. That's why it jumps on everyone. Even though they don't like the dog, it will go towards them. This is a unique human predicament. The human mixed blessing of knowing and understanding that the I is uninhibited consciousness, the I is uninhibited awareness. But uninhibited means I am free to know and I am free to judge. And this judgment is based upon the self, is centered on the I. On an I that is partially known, not fully understood, somehow known, little bit known, and most of the time wrongly known. This is our problem. And so, therefore, the correction of the mistake is the purpose of Upanishad study. And that is hidden in the word Upanishad itself. Shadl is the root verb. It becomes sad and then it becomes back again shad. And what is this shad? What does it mean? Every root verb has the meanings already assigned to it in Vedanta. Very, very nice. So shadl here is, has three meanings. Visharana, gatihi, Visharana, gati and avasadana. Three meanings. What is Visharana? To break up, to from shri to disintegrate. To break up, to disintegrate what? These mistakes made on the I. All the wrong notions centered on the I. I am as good as the body. I am as good as what I have. I am as good as what I don't have. People often identify themselves on the basis of what they don't have. I am poor. I am not skilled enough. All these things. These are the mistakes, and those mistakes are disintegrated. Oh, disintegrated, means what? And then it may come back. It may come back again. After some time, it may grow roots and come back. That's why the next word says what the Upanishad does. Avasadayati, unmulayati. Means it eliminates from the root. It eliminates totally from the root. Uproots. Because once it uproots, it cannot come back. And what is this root? The root cause of these errors made on the I, centered on the I, is self-ignorance. Not knowing the I as Satchidanandam Brahma. That is the cause. So it uproots all the source of the wrong notions, which is the self-ignorance, the ignorance centered on the I. Where the I obtains, that is where the mistakes are made. So that those mistakes are corrected by uprooting the ignorance. And the final one, meaning of the word Shad, is what is Brahma Gamayati, causal, leads you to Brahman. And who is this Brahman? You. And so what does the Upanishad do? Makes you turn around yourself. We talked about that last time. Makes you turn around to face yourself. And you make a U-turn, pun intended, because you are the one that is turning. And then this is something which is celebrated in our culture. It's, in our culture we have a river culture. Very, very interesting. Everything takes place on the banks of rivers, civilizations and everything. So the rivers are worshipped. Rivers are not seen as rivers. They are our mothers. Mother Ganga, Mother Yamuna. And they are, they flow, they sustain life, and then they flow like knowledge. They flow. They flow all the time. So they are, we have a kind of a synergy and an identification with the life stages of the river. Like, see, the every Vedanta poet, sometime or the other in his or her life, will talk about the journey of the river to the ocean. That is the journey of the jiva to understanding that one is one with Ishvara. And similarly, there is another very beautiful thing here that happens. Sometimes what happens is that the river encounters, as it flows, it encounters an obstacle. And then so it turns back to face itself. It turns back. It's as though going back to the source. It's not. It's just avoiding the obstacle and then it will flow on. But then it looks like it has turned towards itself. That place becomes a place of pilgrimage. Because from seeing this, we learn to turn towards our own source. Very nice. I mean, what a culture, what a tradition this is. How fantastic can it be? So this is what Brahma Gamayati means. The first, Visharana Gatihi, that Gati, that last meaning Gati. That Gati means here, there is no going. Because the mistake is centered on the I. There is nowhere to go. You are it. You are it. And there is nowhere to go. Nothing to get other than you. Nothing to want for. Nothing to desire. Nothing to get rid of. Nothing to add. Nothing to become. Nothing to eliminate. Nothing to accomplish. It is all you. So that you which is partially known. Here the river is showing us the way. Because the river is our teacher. Trees are our teachers. Animals are our teachers. This is all there in the Upanishad. So the gurus come in many, many forms. Read the life story of Dattatreya. You will see that. And then so here the river becomes a teacher to tell us that enough of just this mad rush towards this outgoing rush towards getting this, that or the other. Outgoing rush towards the anatma. Come back. Come back to the truth of yourself. Face the source. And so that's why that area where the river turns in on itself becomes a place of worship and pilgrimage. Very beautiful. And that's the third meaning of the word Shad. So the word, so still it's not a verb. Shad is not a verb, but it has now it becomes a verb because it becomes a word, it becomes a noun because it has a suffix. What in Sanskritam is called zero suffix. What is this zero suffix? Zero suffix is that which is added to the word, does its job and then goes away. And what is this suffix here? It is called quip. Quip pratyayanta shabda. And why is it called quip? Because it equips the word Upanishad to become an agent of the destruction of your mistakes. That is how. Quip is a agent noun. Quip. This is how I remember. It equips the word to become an agent of the destruction of your errors and mistake. But where is this quip? Quip has done its job and gone away. It's an invisible agent. Even in English we have examples. So the one who thinks is what?
Thinker.
Thinker. One who does, doer. The one who eats, eater. The one who sleeps, sleeper. The one who dreams, dreamer. And in between the class, one who awakens, waker. And then, so then the one who cooks,
Cook.
cooker? No, cook. No, cooker is the pressure cooker, the vessel. We are not talking of the instrument of cooking. We are talking of the agent. We are not talking of third case, instrumental. We are talking of the agent. And then, so the agent that cooks in English is not cooker, it is cook. What happened to the ER? Like the quip, it has silently shimmied away. But we still understand the word cook as agent. Same way, shad here, it is equipped to, it is the agent of Visharana, Avasadana and Gati. It is the agent. And then we have two, what is that called? Prefixes. Upa, Samipe and Ni. So Upani are the upasargas, they are the prefixes. And then what does Upa mean? Upa means near. It reveals the subject matter of that which is the center of the action of Visharana, Gati, Avasadanam. That which is to be cleaned up, that which is to be, from which the mistakes have to be swept away, that which is to be made to turn to face itself. That I is that the subject matter which is referred to by the word Upa. Why Upa? Because it means near. The term near is relative. So sitting where I am, I am near the computer, and the computer is near the table or on the table, and the table is near the room is near somewhere like this. The near keeps on changing. The word near keeps on changing. But here it refers to that which is the nearest, and of course the dearest to oneself, the I, that is an object that is always experienced but not as an object. The I, the subject which is never objectified, which is experienced all the time. And so that is the one that is going to be cleaned up by the Upanishad. And then Ni means definitely. Nishchayena, definitely. It's the promise of the Upanishad that you're not wasting your time twice a month to come and look at this. You're not wasting your time. There is something there which is very much the agent of self-knowledge, without which these mistakes will not be corrected. Just like in order to bring the rope to light and to know that it is not snake, what do you have to do? You have to shine the light. Here the Upanishad is the light of knowledge, that in which all the cockroaches of mistakes scurry away, never to be seen again. This is what the word Upanishad means. And then here, this Upanishad, the name of this Upanishad is Mundaka, means head. Oh, it's a heady Upanishad? No. Yeah, it is not about it being a heady Upanishad. It is a nod to the particular ritual that used to be. I'm going to take 3 minutes today to just complete this, the title of this, so that next time we can go into the mantras. So it is not that it is a heady Upanishad, but there is a prescription to ascertain the adhikaritvam. This Upanishad is very special because it should not be given to people who have not done this particular Shiro Vratam. Shiro Vratam means a tapas centered on which the head, features prominently. So, what does this ritual involve? It involves the shearing of the hair. Okay, mundanam, no problem. That can be done easy. All you need is a razor. Finished. Zzz, finished, gone. And then what? Okay, you can say, okay, check, mundanam done. That's not Shiro Vrata, that's just a small little part. And then you take burning coals in some kind of a pan, like a basket shaped pan, a wok shaped pan. You take a burning coals, burning wood, pieces of wood, and then on the newly shorn head you put it on top of the head. And then you do 3 perambulations of the ashram, and then lay it at the feet of the Guru and beg for this knowledge. This is called Shiro Vrata. So you have 2 weeks to do it before the next class, okay? Yeah, so this is Shiro Vratam, okay? And so this is, and it says expressly, don't do this. Don't give this Upanishad to people who haven't done this. But then we are already studying, already second class is over. How are we studying this? With what kind of entitlement are we studying this Upanishad without doing the Shiro Vrata? The Shiro Vrata symbolizes Vairagya, dispassion. And the Shiro Vrata also symbolizes Samadhanam, the single-minded focus to be able to get this knowledge without any problem at all. This is Shiro Vrata. And then, so therefore what? So therefore, here, if you are having burning coals on the head, if your head is on fire, you are not, if your head is on fire, you are going to look for a watering hole to be able to dunk the head and then say, thank God. So let's say you are here and 500 yards away is a lake. You can kind of see it and people have told you run that way. And you're running, the head is on fire, you're running towards the lake. And on the left side, you see a Starbucks. I'll pick up a coffee to go. No. In fact, you won't even see the Starbucks on the left-hand side. You won't even see any stops along the way. All kinds of glitter, glimmer, everything, any bling, anything that has bling escapes your notice because you are single-mindedly focused. This is Vairagya, and then you're single-mindedly focused on going to that pond or lake to be able to put your head in the water. That is what Shiro Vrata symbolizes. Just like a person with the hair on fire does not stop to do some shopping along the way or to drop off one's dry cleaning or to pick up a takeaway. No. In the same manner, the student of this Upanishad has single-minded focus. And this is the Shiro Vrata. It is both a requirement, a prerequisite, and a blessing as well. Because it is there in the Upanishad as a blessing. May you have this, and may anybody who studies this Upanishad have this kind of a perseverance, this kind of a tenacity. May all the small chatters, the mind chatter, anatma chatter, this chatter, all this doesn't distract. May they not distract. And that is the blessing. With this blessing, we will end this class. I have some travel next month, so I will let you know the date. In fact, let us fix it right now when the people are here. So the next time it's going to meet, this class, in February, because of the travel, unless we meet, let's see, what is today? Unless we meet next week, and the first week of February, then we will not have 2 classes in February. Would it be would it be okay to meet 2 weeks in a row for this class?
Yes,
Yes.
Swamiji.
And after that, in March, again we will do twice a month. Okay, just for these 2 times, since we are blessed in January to have an extra weekend. So we will have Mundakopanishad next week, which is what, January 30th. Harinder says, is that correct? Yeah. And then February 6th, same time, same place. And if Meenal is there, please update the website with this information, and then we will go from there. Okay, so next week we can do that. And if supposing you cannot make it because you had some prior plans, etc., you can go to this particular YouTube place, and then you can catch up. I won't advise this as a rule because those are best laid plans, the plans of catching up. Catching up never happens, okay? But this is just because we are having a little deviation from the promised schedule. I am just giving you that the YouTube site so that you can catch up something there. All right, okay. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Yes, Shrikant, that will be for Bodhisara also. Bodhisara also we can have just the day before, like we did. Okay, yeah. January 30th, February, so it would be what, 29th and 5th. All right, yeah. All the best. Shubharatri. If you are in the west, or have a wonderful day if you are logging from anywhere else.
धन्यवादः
Suprabhata.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Secretary.
Thank you,
Wonderful
ma'am.
to see you
Thank you very
all.